Hi, and congratulations on your 2020 Nissan Murano SL. This is a truly amazing vehicle. This is a luxury vehicle that you're going to own. It's going to drive like a luxury vehicle. It feels like a luxury vehicle, and everything about it is. I know that you're going to love this. There is a lot to go over in this vehicle, a lot to remember, so I want to refresh your memory on what you got with this. And if you still have any questions at the end of this, please don't hesitate to get in touch. Let's have a look at your new vehicle. All right, here in the center we have our infotainment system. We've got a really nice 8-inch touchscreen display here. You can see I've got my presets for my FM radio. You do have up to 12 presets on this. Down below I've got a few quick options for my source, but if I go into the source up here, I see I have AM, FM, satellite radio, which is free for the first 3 months. CD, USB 1 and 2, and they are labeled down here because you have a Type-C port and a traditional USB port. Your Type-C is going to charge faster. Bluetooth, auxiliary, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are not shown here because they have not yet been connected to the vehicle, but will show up once you've connected it. You also have a navigation system with this. There's your map, very easy to use. If you know exactly where you're going, you can just go into your street address. If it's out of the area that you're in, out of province, switch that. If it's a different area, so a different city, select that first, then select your actual address. If you're only looking for a point of interest, so maybe you're looking for a coffee shop somewhere nearby, I'm going to go into my coffee shops and it's going to load what's closest and then work its way further away from that. So everything is really simple to operate. I've got a back button over here as well as the one here. So nice and easy. It is full touchscreen. You've got zoom in and out. You can even set your own destination. If you are going to set a home address, do not set it to your house. Set it for something nearby that you know how to get home from there, because heaven forbid somebody steals your vehicle. You don't want them to go straight to your home address. Down below, back up here, we're going to go into the settings for a moment. This is where you're going to connect your phone. Just go into connections and then add new. From there, go into the settings on your phone, go into Bluetooth settings. You're looking for My Murano. Once you've connected that, press allow for anything that comes up, and then your address book will load with it. When you get home, connect to your Wi-Fi. That way any system software updates will automatically load in, and anytime that there is a map update, you'll be able to do that, and I'll show you that in a second. In terms of your phone, if you have an Android phone, when you connect it, once it's connected, back out, go into the security settings, and then look for Smart Lock. From there, you want to go into add a trusted device, and you're going to add My Murano. This will keep your phone connected once the screen locks on you. To update your map, once you're connected to your home Wi-Fi, from the settings screen, I'm going to hit Info. I'm going to go over one to the right, and then from here, I want System Information, and I can go into Map Update and Update by Wi-Fi. This will allow you to pull in free updates for your map system anytime that Nissan has an update out there, which is typically about 4 to 6 times a year. Down below on our climate control system, I see I have dual climate control. So right now, both are set for the same thing. All I got to do is turn the passenger side dial. It'll automatically turn it on and then set your temperature. Once your passenger is out of the vehicle, simply push the button and everything resets to the driver's side. I can control my fan speed here. I can pick and choose where my airflow is going to go by using the mode button, or if I want it on the front windshield, I can simply push this. My rear defrost is activated here. I'm going to turn my AC off at the moment, but I am going to turn it on auto, and we see right away it's changed the location of my airflow and the fan has started to move up. It's trying to get me down to 20 degrees. It will do that, and as you get closer to the temperature, it'll do what it needs to maintain it. Heated seats are right down beside your cup holders here. And you do have an auto-dimming rear view mirror with HomeLink. So we can see I've got 3 buttons here to set up my garage door opener. To do that, the easiest way is in front of your garage door, press and hold your garage door opener with one hand, and on the other, press and hold whichever one of these 3 buttons you want it to be synced to. You'll see a red light that's kind of flashing a little bit. When it gets to a fast-paced flash, let go of both buttons and you are fully synced up and ready to go. On my steering wheel, I can see my cruise control settings. So this button is going to turn me on or off, and you do have adaptive cruise, which will be adjusted with this. These are our standard controls for the adaptive cruise. Now we're going to look at the screen up here as I turn it on. My adaptive cruise is set on, and I can see right up here, it's set for 3 car lengths plus safe distance by default. Now, you'll want to adjust that as you get used to it, but just as an example, 1 car length plus safe distance at 100 kilometers an hour is approximately 2.5 car lengths. I can adjust that using this button here. So as we watch, 2, 1, and then back to 3. If you want just normal cruise instead of adaptive cruise, rather than just pushing and letting go, like so, if I press and hold this button here, I see that everything changes. I'm on normal cruise control at this point, not adaptive cruise. To get back to adaptive, simply turn it off and then just turn it back on by pressing and releasing. On the left side of our steering wheel from the bottom up, we have our volume controls for our radio. So I can increase or decrease the volume on that. My next button up here is my source button. This will allow me to change the source of my audio. It will give me a menu up on my driver assist display, allowing me to pick and choose what I want for my input. We're going to skip over our shadow box just for a moment, and we're going to come up. So here we have a phone button. This is going to allow me to answer or hang up a phone call. My next button up is the voice recognition button. This is what I use to make an outbound call. Now, from the navigation system, if I go into destination, these buttons are going to gray out once I start driving because it is a distraction to try and set this while you're driving. However, while you're driving, you can use the voice recognition button to set your navigation all by voice. Just follow the voice prompts. When it asks you for a destination, speak nice and clear. For example, if you have a number, you want to enunciate each number individually. So instead of saying 60 Baker Drive, I would say 60 Baker Drive, Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. From there, it will set that as your destination. My OK button with the arrows on it here is going to be for some of the different displays that I have on my driver assist display. So we're going to use this shadow box to go back and forth here now, and we're going to show you the different displays that you have. Currently, I'm on the home screen. This is going to give me a compass for my direction, a digital speedometer, and my radio info. I'm going to hit the right arrow on the shadow box, and now I have my radio info only on this screen. We're going to go back again and hit the arrow. This is my navigation screen. When there's no destination set, it's strictly going to be a compass. If I have a destination set, this is going to disappear. I'm going to get an arrow going up to the right or left, whichever direction my next turn is, and it's going to count down the distance on the screen, all the while talking to me through the speaker system for any directions that it needs to give. Our next screen over shows our driving information here. Now I'm going to reset this, and we're going to reset all just by pressing the enter button or the OK button each time, and everything's reset. And it tells you that right on the bottom of the screen right down there. Our next screen over is our fuel economy, which we have just reset. Then we have our driving aids. So your vehicle is equipped with automatic emergency braking and forward collision warning in the front. For the automatic emergency braking, the way it's going to work is you're driving along and the vehicle in front of you piles on the brakes. Inside the vehicle, it's going to beep at you. The gas pedal is going to push back against your foot a little bit. If you don't react fast enough, the beeping gets louder and faster, and if necessary, it will start to apply the brakes. Your forward collision warning is the first step of that process. It's something that you will likely experience, especially if you have a vehicle ahead of you that's turning onto a different road. Once the radar gets within range and you're closing the gap, it'll beep at you, and then they'll make that turn, and then the beeping will stop. Your blind spot indicators are on the inside of the vehicle on either side. They will light up and stay lit up a dull orange as long as part of a vehicle is in your blind spot. Now, when that happens, if, for example, my driver's side blind spot indicator is lit up and I signal to go left while it's lit up, it's going to start flashing and I'll get an audible sound. It's going to beep 2 or 3 times inside the cab of the vehicle here. Now, if your radio's up too loud, you might not hear it. You also have rear cross traffic detection in this vehicle. So as you're backing out of a parking spot, if there's anything coming at you from either direction within 2 car lengths inside the vehicle, it will beep at you. And whichever side the movement's coming from, your blind spot indicator on that side of the vehicle is going to be flashing to let you know that's where something's coming at you from. You have rear sonar on this vehicle. So it's going to beep at you as you get close when you're backing up, and we'll look at the backup camera in a minute. You also have lane departure warning and pedestrian detection. Your lane departure warning will beep at you if you're drifting out of your lane. It's read by the camera up and behind here. It reads the lines on either side of you when you are doing 60 kilometers an hour or faster. The pedestrian detection works the exact same as the automatic emergency braking, but it works a whole lot faster, because for the automatic emergency braking, the car in front of you typically has some forward momentum when it slams on the brakes, whereas the pedestrian who's walked out in front of you does not, and we're trying to avoid giving them any. A speed limit sign is an interesting new feature. So as you're driving along and you pass a speed limit sign anywhere on the road, it's going, on this screen it would display it here, but it's always going to display it up here as well. That way you always know what the speed limit is for where you're at. We have a tire pressure monitoring system that once you start driving will show you each wheel individually and what the pressure is. If you get a low tire pressure, it's going to pop up, tell you low tire pressure, but it's going to tell you the exact pressure and which tire is low. From there, when you go to put air in the tires, simply go to the tire that needs the air, start putting air in. When you get to the right pressure, your horn's going to beep to tell you to stop. If for some reason you continue to put air in or you go to the wrong tire, you're going to get a warning for the upper limit, which is the horn beeping 3 times in a row. At that point, please stop putting air in that tire. However, if that happens, do the same thing to your other 3 tires so that all 4 tires have the same pressure and you get even tread wear. Any warnings can be reviewed on this screen after you've cleared them off. And our final screen over is our settings. Now I'm going to go into the settings. I'm going into vehicle settings, locking, auto door unlock, and I want to set this for shift to park. It's the preferred method for most people. Nissan vehicles by default will have it set for ignition off. So we're going to go back a couple screens down to wipers, and we're going to turn on speed dependent so that your intermittent wipers are speed dependent. Finally, we are going to back out and go into maintenance, oil and filter, and we want to make sure this is set for 8,000 kilometers. And if it's not, just set it. Your oil changes are due every 8,000 kilometers or every 6 months, whichever hits first. But with this set, if you do hit the 8,000 kilometers, it will tell you that you are due for an oil change. That is all of the screens on the driver assist display. We have a couple buttons down here. So we have a heated steering wheel that turns on with this. It'll stay on for about 30 minutes once you turn it on. We have a button here to turn off the traction control. We highly recommend leaving this alone as you're in an all-wheel drive vehicle. It's an intuitive all-wheel drive, so it's going to turn the all-wheel drive on as needed, but drive in front-wheel drive the rest of the time otherwise. We have a power lift gate on this vehicle, and we have a button here that will open it if you're in park, so that if you've got somebody who needs to get something out, you can strictly open it or close it from here. And this button here, when it's turned on, now I see it shows up green up here, that is my lane departure intervention. This is a feature that you want to use on the highway. So if your vehicle starts to beep at you because you're drifting out of your lane and you're not correcting it, it is going to help pull you back into your lane. But you do need to turn it on beforehand so that light is lit up. Otherwise, you don't see it there at all. The backup camera on our vehicle. Now I can hear my audible sounds right away. I'm going to move forward a touch so that I don't have any beeping at me. And now I'm going to put the backup camera on. And you're going to go a little bit further again. So when I'm in reverse, I have some distance markers here, green, yellow, and red hash marks. As long as whatever's behind me stays above the red hash marks, I have room to safely open the hatch on my Murano. If you have to get in really close, the bumper is across the bottom of your screen here. You can get in as tight as your bumper. Over here, we have a 360-degree bird's eye view around the vehicle. On the bottom here, and you can see it flashing depending on how close something is behind you there. That's for the audible sounds and your warning that you're getting close to something. We've got our 2 side views, which are operated on cameras underneath the side mirrors, and then we've got a view out the front here. Now, if I'm in park or drive, so let's put us in drive at the moment. I can see I'm in drive there, and I'm going to hit the camera button. Now I have a view out the front of the vehicle. This will stay on until I hit 10 kilometers an hour or until it's been on for 2 minutes. If I press the button again, I get a view down the passenger side of the vehicle. So I'm going to turn that off. Back on the reverse. As I'm moving, I also have predictive lines. If I'm coming in on an angle, this will show me where I'm coming, and they are very accurate. So you can line those up for when you're backing up. Now, as I back up, we're going to hear the tones start there. Now I've just passed the edge on one part there. I don't want to go any further back because I'm pretty close to that concrete flower box. If this object here was closer to me, then the beeping would get faster as I'm getting closer to it. I'm going to move forward a little bit here because we're going to go back and have a look at the hatch. At the back of the Murano here, we can see we've got some sensors along the bottom here. There's 4 of them in total. That's for your sonar as you're backing up. Now you do have a power lift gate. There is a button on my key fob here that I can use. Up underneath here, there is a rectangular button. We'll look at this round one in a moment. Or I have kick motion activation. So to work this, nice fluid in and out. I hear 3 tones telling me back up out of the way, and the power lift gate opens. I do have a button up here to close it. I can use the button on the key fob. I can use the button inside the vehicle, or I can once again give a quick kick underneath and it closes for me. That's your easiest way. You only need the key on you for that to work because it needs to be within 3 feet of the hatch. Now the round button that we looked at there is the same as the buttons on the 2 front handles here. Where the vehicle is currently unlocked, if I push that once, providing I have the key on me, it can be in my pocket or wherever, the vehicle is locked. Now because it's running, we didn't hear the tone. So I'm going to unlock this. We're going to turn this off and we're going to shut it. Now we'll hear a tone. 2 beeps means the vehicle is locked. All doors are locked on this, including the hatch. Now, if I walk up to the vehicle and push this once, I hear a single beep. Only my driver's side door is unlocked. My back door is still unlocked. It's still locked. If I hit this again, now the entire vehicle is unlocked. So you need 2 pushes if you have anybody with you when you're getting in. Otherwise, it's just a single push for yourself. We do have memory seats on this vehicle. So for this one, you're going to want to make sure that your seat is where you want it to be as far as forward, back, up and down, the back of it, as well as the lumbar support. Once all that's in place, make sure your side mirrors are set where you want them as well. And as soon as they are, you're going to hit set, and then 1 or 2, whichever driver setting you're going to set it for. Then you'll spend about a week trying to get this all adjusted. Every time that you readjust it, just hit set, and then whichever driver number you are, and it will reset it to the new setting. From there, once you've got it where you want it, anytime that you're going to get in and somebody else has been driving, simply press whichever number you are and it will go back to your settings for both the seat and your side mirrors. One of the last things I want to talk to you about is your key fob. Now with this, you do have a panic button on the bottom. We've got our power lift gate button, unlock, lock, and remote start. To work your remote start, you're going to hit lock and then hold the top button for 5 seconds. From there, it's going to remote start your vehicle from up to 200 feet away. Now with this, you can remote start it twice or once with 1 extension without ever getting in. It will run for up to 10 minutes when you remote start it. After 10 minutes, if you don't get in and engage the vehicle, and once you get in to engage it, it will tell you up on the screen here, the same as starting it, put your foot on the brake and push the start button. If you're running behind and you want to extend it, just do the exact same thing. Press the lock, hold the top button for 5 seconds. It will add 10 minutes to the count from wherever you're at. If it's been running since 6 minutes and you do that, it'll run to the 16-minute mark. If you try and do it right away so that you extend it right away, it's only going to run to the 11-minute mark. Now the other part with your key fob, because it is a fob, there is a battery inside, and they traditionally last 2 to 4 years depending on usage. When it starts to get low, it will pop up on your driver assist display screen to tell you low key battery, or it might say incorrect key ID. Let the message go away. If it still won't start after a couple tries, take the Nissan emblem with your foot on the brake, put it directly against the start button, and use that to push it in. That will still start your vehicle, even though the battery might be dead. Now, the other thing is, if your battery is dead, on the back, there's a switch. If you push it over, you can pull it out. There is a keyhole in the driver's side door that will allow you in and then start it as we just went over. Then you can go and get a new battery. To check the battery size, simply pop your key out. Put something in one of those 2 recessed areas and give it a twist. That will pop open your key fob. You can see the battery inside. It looks like a watch battery, just bigger. From there, the number on the battery is your battery size. They run about $6 or $7 to buy them. I don't recommend dollar store batteries. They do work, but they only work for 3 or 4 months at a time. Spend the money, get a good battery. It'll last 2 to 4 years. For an extra $1 or $2, you can take it directly into the Nissan store. They will check your battery for you. They'll replace it all for you so that you don't need to fiddle with any of it. It's $1 or $2 more than doing it yourself. Congratulations again on your 2020 Nissan Murano SL. This is an amazing vehicle. It's super comfortable. It's fun to drive. I know you're gonna love it. It's sporty. If you still have any questions after going through everything that we've just gone through, please don't hesitate to get in touch. You can call, text, email, or you can stop into 60 Baker Drive in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, and either ask for myself or any of the sales reps in here to be able to help answer any questions that you have. I hope to see you again soon. When it's time for the next one, I look forward to working with you again.